Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Well, welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for that retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. So in order to do that, please call me, email me, or visit www.drheckham, so that's just drhecm.com. And that stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. Easier? Just bestloantoday@gmail.com. Email me. About halfway down, you'll see the YouTube channel link, and on that first page anyway. And that YouTube channel has all of the shows. Well, almost. Sometimes it takes a little now and then for me to get it up there, but it usually doesn't take that long. So just in case, there's that number for you. So there's a lot there on that website, though. So a lot there. A lot of things that have written by me, written by others, written by real experts that have had a lot of experience. So remember, knowledge is power. 866-955-2233. And if you want to know what my day job is, I am a loan officer at the Loan Source. My NMLS number is 384565, Department of Real Estate, although I don't sell real estate. Our guest, Daryl, however, does, but my DRE number is 792630. So, come in. We're gonna have Daryl McCance with us today, and I'd like to introduce him right up front so that he can give his 2 cents into whatever else we talk about. So go ahead, Daryl, and say hello.
Well, I want to say hello to everybody, and you were wise to put your NMLS number out there. Mine's 450569, and Department of Real Estate 000947871. Now, Jay,
who, me?
KMET 1490 AM has an affiliation with the Lakers, and you need to know that today is Wilt Chamberlain's date of birth. Just for your information, Wilt Chamberlain. That's a big deal.
So we have a few other birthdays also.
Yeah.
But I want your intake on this as just a quick reminder. A very good, I consider a friend of mine and one of the most esteemed elder care attorneys, Susan B. Geffen, wrote a book a while ago called Take That Nursing Home and Shove It. I can't think of a better time to reconsider that. Could there ever be a more focused time to take that to heart? If at all possible, I don't think you want any of your loved ones or yourself in a nursing home these days. So get prepared. And Daryl, you know that over 70% of our population believes that health care, that kind of long-term health care, is covered in their regular health insurance. It is not. So
that doesn't surprise me.
No. And it is a bit weird. So I think, what do you think of nursing homes right now?
I think that the people that work in those nursing homes are working really hard, and I can't imagine how stressful it'd be to be in a nursing home environment today. But I agree with you, Jay, that there's been a lot of research, and one of the things that you are a product expert on is keeping all of us at home as long as humanly possible. And there's ways that people can use their home to stay at home. And but whether it's a hospital or a nursing home or really anywhere other than home, it's just hard to beat it. It's just hard to
Right.
beat staying in your own home for health reasons, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, for all the
All of
above, for
those
all the
things that
above.
are completely tied together.
Yep.
And I was out a bit last week, half of the show, and I had Phil Walker do a repeat. But I listened to Phil Walker during the week after that, talking about, and we may have him back for that. And he wasn't talking directly about reverse mortgages per se. He was talking about that if you don't have long-term care, you need to be set up for it. And there are so many products that I do not sell, but I can try to, aim you at people who do, where there are long-term health riders for you or your family that you can buy at an affordable price. Hint, hint, from reverse mortgage is one way. But regardless of how and why, you really need to look into these various different products, insurance or whatever they are. I'm not the expert on them, but you call me and I will find you an expert on them.
Absolutely.
And that's why I want you to call 866-955-2233, because you need to know more about the choices you really have and how to protect what you already have. I have that team of experts. So, today we're talking about forbearance, right? Daryl?
That's in the news. That is in the news. And what is exactly forbearance? What's the definition that you
Well, I have a
feel?
definition, but the individual lenders, unfortunately, all seem to have different ones. I guess a
Yep.
forbearance means, hey, I can't make my payment, or I don't want to make my payment this month. Can I have a forbearance and not make the payment this month? I remember 40, 50 years ago, sometime a credit card company would send out, hey, Merry Christmas, we give you a forbearance on this month's payment, and then add the interest to the end. So a lot of people think that's what it is, but a lot of times these lenders are just putting it off, allowing you not to make some payments, but then 3 months later you do need to make the payment up. It's strange. But any bit of forbearance, I got to admit, has got to be able to help people who are in trouble. Now, those people with a HELOC are seeing those HELOCs frozen and not even available sometimes anymore. And with our loan, the home equity conversion, or a reverse if you want it, they're still available, with or without a line of credit that can never be canceled or frozen. But forbearance is a non-issue. You can always make payments, interest-only payments, payments of any amount. So I'm starting to call that the intelligent retirement forbearance loan. But what have you heard, Daryl, about forbearance and into some individual lenders?
Well, when the topic got red hot a few months ago, everybody was optimistic that the forbearance would be very consumer focused and not make a little problem into a big problem. And unfortunately, as you said a minute ago, Jay, there are individuals calling their lenders, and the lenders are saying, yes, for 90 days you can not make your payment, but at the end of 3 months, those lenders expected those customers to make 4 payments. The 3
and
that
where's
they had
the money
missed,
coming from? They asked for a forbearance because they're not making money now.
correct.
So where are they going to get the 4 payments from? I take it from, from
Well, I think-
Uncle Daryl, right?
Well,
You want to put your phone number out front? Call Uncle Daryl for forbearance help.
Correct. And so, unfortunately, you hit the nail on the head, Jay. If the money is not there, now they're receiving documents where it actually mentions the word foreclosure, which is always very stressful, especially for seniors. If it's not bad enough that the lender called them and said they could skip these 3 payments and somehow try to put the money together to make them along with the current one at the end of that period, so 4 payments total. But now what we're finding out is while those payments were not made, it was being reported to credit reporting bureaus.
Yes, that too. I almost forgot about that.
And I've got several seniors that have called and others that have said they received from the three bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, notification that their credit scores had dropped. So, if it's not bad enough, and then of course,
not only that, it's some are showing late payments.
Right. And and then finally, as interest rates have dropped and people are excited about getting the reverse mortgage or a traditional mortgage or whatever, the first question that's asked is, have you had your loan in forbearance in the last month or 2 or 3 or 4? And if they have, there could be consequences to that. Now, luckily, your specialty is the reverse mortgage, and you and I have been enjoying that program for many years, and those lenders have been very, very accommodating to.
Well, they don't have to do anything because no loan is necessary. No payment is ever necessary.
Correct.
Of course, you make any payment you want. You can do like an old friend of mine, Martin, says. You can put your reverse mortgage or HECM in forward or first gear and make payments. You can put it in neutral and make interest-only payments, which is a huge reduction of probably what you're paying right now if you have a good-sized loan, and your loan balance isn't going anywhere. Or you can put it in reverse and not make the payments at all. And usually, now we're here in California, but I'd say usually in probably 100%, 110% of the cases, if you don't make payments at all, you are accruing interest, but you are accruing value in your property that is most likely equal or more. And therefore, you are still increasing equity. And you're protecting your heirs, too, from, the money that you're not paying, you still have that money. It didn't go away. You have healthcare issues that we spoke about before. So this is really having the HECM, I think, is one of the best ways to protect your legacy. So let me put in one of my little spiels that when it comes to the HECM or reverse, know the facts, compare the numbers. It's much too important an issue to ignore, and you don't want to eliminate it based on not fully understanding it. It's not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's just math. Right?
That's 100% correct. Very similar, Jay, to somebody that has a big IRA. It's fun to put money in and watch them grow, but nobody likes to pull money out of an IRA. But at some point, typically at age 70 and a half, it's mandatory. What's nice, obviously, about the reverse mortgage is you can get it set up. You don't have to use it. But if there is a need, as we've seen historic things happening in recent months, or the solution for long-term care, most of the people that I talk to will share that it's the least expensive solution
right
for long-term care. Because as you know, when people apply for long-term care, one of two things happen. Either the application is denied or they get approved and they find out it's very, very, very expensive. So,
it's always very, very expensive.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying somebody of my age, there's no way I could do it. But if you start when you're younger, yeah, you can get it, but it's a huge amount of money. Of course, it's great. I was almost going to say it's great if you get sick and use it. No, it's not great if you get sick. But at least you use it if you get sick. If you get hit by a bus or something, it's all gone. So there's a lot of gives and takes to that.
Yeah, I think the reverse mortgage and insurance are very similar. And you want to set your insurance up, and you hope you don't need it or you don't want to use it. That'd be an ideal situation. But if there is the scenario where it's needed, it's sure great to have it. And likewise with the reverse, to get it set up while people qualify and the program is available, even if there's no need. As you said, keep it in neutral and down
people
the road.
Say they have no need for it. Well, how do you know you have no need for protection? Of course you have a need to be protected down the line. Let me just throw in here that you are listening to The Educated Retirement Radio here on 1490 KMET. This is J. Kaplan with our guest Daryl McCance. And remember, www.drhecm.com. And remember to call me, 866-955-2233. Even if you want to talk to Daryl, I'll put you through to him, but he'll give you his phone number anyway, because he already volunteered to pay the forbearance payments, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, you said whose birthday did you say it is?
Wilt Chamberlain, who has, as you know, played for the Lakers for a period of time, and KMET has a relationship with the LA Lakers as an official radio component for their franchise.
And that's us.
That's us.
Now,
And,
there's a couple other people that have birthdays today.
Yahoo!
Raise your hand if you've heard of Peter Weir. No, well, I think listeners and watchers know that I'm a real movie freak. My wife also. Peter Weir is an Australian film director who brought us the black comedy and cult classic called Cars That Ate Paris. Now, where is my... I don't know whether you can actually see this or not. Let me try to put some more light on the subject. Huh? Is that up there? Maybe. Oh, here's another one. Another gem. You'd probably rather see that than my face anyway.
It is a bit of an improvement.
But he did go on to make a few more films, maybe lesser known, such as Picnic at Hanging Rock, which I think almost everybody alive has heard of. Here's a Criterion version with a whole book and the whole thing, and it's been on Netflix over the last couple of years also. The Last Wave. I loved The Last Wave. It was a lot of you get to learn a lot of Aboriginal culture and the dream state, and you got sound effects with natural instruments from the Aboriginal instruments, and it is extremely creepy, and I highly recommend it. And you know what else is creepy, because it starred Richard Chamberlain? Is I served Richard Chamberlain. I was a waiter once at a place called Clementine's in Beverly Hills on Roxbury, whatever. He gave me, I think, a 50-cent tip after lunch. So so he's a bit creepy also. Just to let you know. And
now say again, who was that left that big tip?
Richard Chamberlain.
Oh, Richard Chamberlain. Okay.
Yeah.
No relationship to Wilt Chamberlain.
No. No, but also Peter Weir also did The Year of Living Dangerously, The Truman Show, Witness, Dead Poets Society, Master and Commander, all great films. And don't forget some of the other Australian people like Nicholas Roeg. Show you this one. But you know who really stands out, and it's not his birthday, it's George Miller, the very, very same director that gave us all, including this last one he did when he directed in his 80s, the man that gave us all of the Mad Max films, also gave us Happy Feet and Babe in the City. So,
Really? Wow.
I mean, can you imagine how much far apart those are? And I mean, what a great guy he must be. Yeah, with I mean, that's incredible.
That is incredible.
So that too is out there. Count Basie is another one, and you've probably heard of him. And he bounced in 1904, and he checked out in 1984. And his mother, 25 cents an hour lessons on the piano, Turned out to be a pretty good investment. He went on to play music for silent films and grab jobs in Harlem. He also met up with Fats Waller, no, not me, I've lost a lot of weight, who taught him also the organ, which is also great for silent films. And I guess, what do we got here? Now, I've got maybe 50 Count Basie albums. I just, for some reason, just love that picture. I just love that picture.
That is classic.
And there's another one on the back. And then I've got, like I said, I've got so many others. But this was put out by Roulette Records. It's a Count Basie story. And I just want to see if I can show you. Got a couple of records in here too, but I don't know whether these pictures at all are going to. Here's a picture of his parents, including the mother that paid the 25 cents an hour for his lessons.
His father played the mellophone.
And one more, maybe, if I can get it out here. There's one more that hopefully we can see. This shows him in one of his first groups. So I don't know if I got that straight or what, or whether it's worth, but so be it. I did my best. So the rest is great music history, but you know that he was the first African American to win a Grammy ever, and that was in 1958. He went on to win 9 Grammys and also the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And I guess his first big hit was One O'Clock Jump. Can you sing that for us?
1 o'clock jump, 1 o'clock jump.
That's close enough. I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
That's the best I can do on short notice.
Yes, well, that's all the notice that we need. And that's what these people on foreclosure, on forbearance are getting, is very short notice. Hey, where is your money?
Correct.
But you know, today is, and we'll get on this, we're going to take a break here in about a minute, National Spumoni Day. Let me show you a picture of a Spumoni truck. Can you see that okay?
That's classic. That is classic.
Ain't it?
That's
now,
was that from the 1920s, you think?
Yeah. Oh, Master and Commander. I guess I forgot to show that too, although, you know, Peter Weir. But the thing is, I never really knew Spumoni. I kept getting Spumoni mixed up with like Neapolitan and stuff like that. But it's a frozen treat from southern Italy, usually pistachio, chocolate, and cherry. And not that. It's also National Senior Citizen Day, but I think we'll get into that most likely a little bit later in the show. So it looks like it's about the bottom of the hour, which means we're going to send it back to Sean for a short break, and then we'll take off again with National. I can hear a little Count Basie there in the background. And glad to have you back. And this is Jay Kaplan, and I'm here along with Daryl McCance. And this is the Educated Retirement Radio Show. And just in case you forgot, remember, if you want to call in, sometimes people will call in. 951-922-3532. And if you call in, I really want to hear somebody who does not think that they like the reverse mortgage. Now, if you love it, call in too, okay? And then, of course, my regular phone number, 866-922. No, let me try that again. 866-955-2233. 866-955-2233, where knowledge is power. And today is National Senior Citizen Day. Now, I consider myself a senior citizen, amongst a whole other things, like an old this and an ancient that. How about you? I don't mean you out there in the audience. I'm talking about Daryl. I don't even know how old you are, Daryl. You know what?
Well, Jay, I completely agree with you. I consider you a senior as well, and ancient as well. So I agree with you.
That's true.
I think you're right on the money. Most people cannot describe themselves accurately, but I tip my hat. I think you did a great job there.
And growing on. You saw me for the first time in several months, just the other day.
Yeah, you look great.
Well,
you look like just like a fraction of your former self.
I do, and I even had a walker, which I hope I don't need for long. I'm trying to, walk more and more every day so I can chase you down. But
that's right.
At least you're good for rolling downhill. So you're not quite a senior citizen yet.
I am a senior. I've received all the communications via U.S. mail that support that, from Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D.
But you have not had your reverse mortgage birthday yet, have you?
I have not. I am I don't know about you, but my reverse mortgage, I put them in 3 different categories: the kids, which are between 62 and 72, the teenagers, which are between 72 and 82.
That's me.
And only those above 82 in my group are genuine seniors within that grouping system. Mm-hmm. So when I have a 62-year-old, I tell them, they're just young as can be. They're young.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad. And me, I'm just a teenager, right?
You're just a teenager.
That's a rough period of time, isn't it, though?
Yeah, it's tough being a teenager, that.
So, there's a huge numbers of us baby boomers. You're not quite a baby boomer, but there are a huge number of us baby boomers out there, and we'll probably double in number before much too long. And a lot of that has to do with improved health care. But on the other hand, look how much more health care is going to be required. So we really need to dig deep to discuss on how to get and keep that health care. Now, you and I already did that, but I mean everybody and their families listening, you got to dig deep. Call us. We can send you to people. We can get you advice. If you find advice, just do it. But this day was proclaimed Ancient People Day by Ronald Reagan in 1988, which is about the same time he signed into law the HECM, or the reverse mortgage that we know today. And the proclamation for the same time, like I said, they signed the HECM law into law. So that is that. And you know what? I should have brought up what Congress had to say, the real law. It has nothing whatsoever saying helping old people to stay in their home. Nothing at all. It has just a way to overcome hardships of losing your total income in the light of compounding inflation. And if you don't think you need a reverse mortgage just for compounding inflation in spite of your future health cares, it's time to think about it, right?
Well, there's no question, and Jay, as you said, with people living longer, I recently had something brought to my attention that 83%, according to a big national survey, uh, individuals that are in retirement, 83% of their retirement is their home equity. So when people are in retirement and they look at their entire savings and wealth and so forth,
Right.
it's staggering that they perceive that 83% is the equity in their home. And to your point, the longer you keep the home, the more equity you have. Imagine if somebody had sold their home 10 years ago, or 20, or 30,
Right.
or 40, or 50, or 60, or 70, or 80, or 90, or 100. People just simply need to look back at each 10-year increment. And it's really makes your point.
Right.
As inflation goes up, the two primary things needed to combat inflation is either a high-paying job or a beautiful piece of property. And folks in retirement oftentimes are not working 50, 60 hours a week in full employment, hence the name retirement. So the house becomes more important. And when they enacted that back in the late 80s, to give seniors another option, because prior to this, the only legal and safe way to get your hands on money without being stuck with a payment was to sell your home. And
Right.
then once that home is sold and the money
It's
is
gone.
gone,
That's a one time and it's done.
and it's done. And many seniors found 5 years later the money was gone because of what you said, which is inflation, which is the most absolute.
And what's been shown is that if seniors actually sell their home to go into an assisted living facility, they've blown through 100% of what they made on their home in about 3 years or less.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
really
what? It's brutal. So I've got a good friend who also has a show on this same network, Ron Siegel, and I'm on his show sometimes. I was last week, but he says equity is just like filling your coffee can with cash and burying it in your backyard. You make all your life making payments into these things. Your retirement fund, you spend your whole life putting money into in hopes of taking it out and having flexibility with it. So what is there, $7 trillion stuck in coffee cans in people's backyards right now that could be used to help your old family, to help your old way of life, to help your health, to help your children get education, to buy them houses, whatever, and still own the home, which is still increasing in value.
Yep. And Jay, one of these days, perhaps not today, but one of these days, we really do need to go over the myths, because U.S. HUD and the Federal Housing Administration has done such a great job year after year after year after year, improving the program, getting feedback from seniors how to make it better. They've been so responsible, and it's just really, really an amazing accomplishment. And to that end, the myths out there are staggering. You and I know if somebody gets a reverse mortgage, only they are on title. There's still that myth out there that somehow the bank comes on title or somebody else comes on title. It's only them. They have a lifetime forbearance, and so, they're in a position where they don't have to, they've worked hard, and they're at the point where they don't have to make a payment on this program, a monthly payment. Now, as you said, if they want to send money in like any other loan, they can. If they want to just pay interest only. So,
it's
and
just
the other,
a loan. The thing is,
it's very
a loan, and it's just happens to be the best loan I think out there.
Yep, it was specially designed for seniors, and those that have taken advantage of it over the years. They constantly reach back, contact those customers, and ask them, What do you think of the program? 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 10 years later. And I am always so impressed when the seniors, by the overwhelming majority, 90+%, give it perfect ratings. They get it. They understand it. It's some of it's counterintuitive initially, but it just seems like they not only do they get it, but they promote it. They recommend it to their family and friends, and it's just a very well thought out program. And
I just think
a
big misunderstanding, of course, is that the bank owns the home, which never happens unless they, it's not part of this. Okay.
Right. Yep.
That's after you leave, or the kids give it to the bank or whatever. Your kids get 100% of the equity. They pay off whatever loan there is, and in most cases, there's going to be equity.
Yep.
The kids get everything that's left. But remember, the borrowers have saved monthly payments, so there should be a big chunk in the, there could be a big chunk in the savings accounts also that they get.
Absolutely.
If they are investors, their portfolios are now going to be so much higher, because on those down years, those more savvy borrowers, they didn't sell their stocks. They left the stocks where they were. They borrowed from tax-free funds from an ever-growing asset, their home, and did not have to sell their equities. And by selling equities, you're selling off your work. Those are little workers that are working to make you money as you're retired. So you're selling off your business, your retirement business, and that's bad. You end up so much better. There was, like 10,000 Monte Carlos done this way and 10,000 that way, and the ones that had a reverse mortgage draw, just even 2 or 3 of them over a 30-year period, was not just a little better, but huge. Ended up with a much, much, much bigger legacy.
Yeah,
so there's I can't stop talking about how many uses this kind of flexibility will give you.
Well, Jay, it's funny because I've given a lot of thought, and when we look at some of the advice that has come down from generation to generation, you get 2 big pieces of advice. And one piece of advice is pay your house off free and clear, which is wonderful. And those people that have paid them down or paid them off, that's wonderful. And the other piece of advice is don't have all your eggs in one basket. So they kind of contradict each other, right?
Absolutely.
They contradict each other. So the people that are, as you just said, that are using some of the equity in their home, could be just very small amounts of dollars, so that they protect their stock investment. Because when you talk to the financial advisors, they're pulling their hair out because their clients are pulling out more money each year out of their stocks than they should. And you know where that leads. It could lead to the money's gone. And oftentimes people are not pulling a little bit of money out to keep their house in great condition, because at some point we all expire. We all have an expiration date. So to me, it's sad when the kids inherit a home that's in a total state of disrepair. The property gets sold at a huge discount, where if some small piece of the equity could have been used to make sure the roof is in good shape and the plumbing and electrical, it would have made the quality of life better for, mom and dad, as it is, and a
legacy that's higher, or a higher value home to sell.
Much higher. In some cases, I've seen it where it's 20, 30, 40% more, because when homes have to be sold for cash, and because they're not in condition where they can, qualify for the low interest rate loans, it really has a devastating effect on property values.
I think one real misnomer, or we're talking about the myths, is that when people call it a reverse mortgage, most people think, okay, now instead of me making payments to the bank is going to make payments to me. That is possible. I've never done one that way, but that's not really what it means. It means you're taking your equity that's allowable and putting it on a shelf, and they won't even let you have all of it because they want you protected. You're putting a big chunk or a chunk of equity on the shelf. You're not taking it out of you're not putting it in your pocket and It just makes it liquid. It's there if you need it. You take it when you need it. You put it back when you need it. You want to buy a motorhome? Okay. You can go to a dealer and buy one, and you can pay them cash, which is stupid. Or you could buy it on time through the motorhome company. But what's better, make those payments back to yourself in your home, and that each time you make a payment for that motorhome, you're increasing your own line of credit again. So,
Yep.
I mean, whether it's that or education for the kids, or I see people even taking enough money out to put down payments for the kids and, an education and enjoy their life while you're still around.
Yep. And I go back to Jay. I just get tickled that when the customers, when the light bulb goes on and they feel like they really understand it, they just get excited and then more excited, more excited. And I give all credit, again, to U.S. HUD, the Federal Housing Administration. This is for seniors only that have worked very, very hard over the years to either pay their house off, or if they have a small loan, that's wonderful. That gets paid off when the new reverse mortgage comes in. So they have
Yeah.
the lifestyle of having a home free and clear.
And
then they
no
get-
one, yeah, and no heir gets a home that's upside down.
correct.
There's no recourse no matter whatever happens. If what happens in '08 happens again when the parents pass away, there is no recourse to anyone.
Right. Or Hurricane Katrina, or the
Right.
big fires, or earthquakes, or whatever. And for that topic, if somebody calls you, they can go over what happens, because that's an exciting change. It's only happened in recent times with regard to family members when they inherit it, that they have a benefit now that they didn't have 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
Right.
So they just keep improving it. And then the other big concern that I hear a lot from the customers is, what happens when I expire, when I'm gone? It is amazing the opportunities that the kids have with respect to that house.
Right.
The typical is, if the house has a mortgage on it and there's payments, immediately the kids are stressed out because they got to make those payments.
If it's
And
a
the fact-
regular loan, if
If
it's a regular loan, they got to make
But
the
not-
payments. With this, not with this.
Correct. Not with this, which is a big weight lifted off of the seniors' shoulders. And then the kids, of course, they can move into it and put everything in their name, get their own mortgage. They can.
Yep. Did I lose you there? Hello? Well, we'll get him back. You know what we'll do in the meantime? I have a guest speaker, Kathleen, to talk about what happened this day in history. Okay? And let's get that. And while we're waiting for Daryl to come back, we're going to talk about Bambi. Go ahead.
Oh. Okay, Bambi. The movie Bambi was released in 1942 on this day. It was Walt Disney's fifth animated feature, and the original book was actually written by an Austrian hunter, and the book was called Bambi, A Life in the Woods, and that was in 1923. The author was Felix Salten. Now, regarding the reception of the film, hunters spoke out against the movie, and in a 1942 edition of the magazine Outdoor Life, the editor, Raymond Brown, said that the film was the worst insult ever offered in any form to American sportsmen. In spite of all of that, the film is still considered an elegantly animated, enduring, moving Disney classic.
Oh, thank you. And now let's see whether we got Daryl back, the other Bambi in our world. Oh. You know what? I'm going to do that right now so that we can get his at least 2 cents worth. in the, let me do that right now. We lost your sound feed. Please call in at 951-922-3532. That was the right number, right? So in any case, he may show up. And if he didn't, I really want to thank him for the time that he spent and with us. I thought it was a really good show, and that there was quite a bit that we were able to talk about, whether or not that was Spumoni or whoever else. But, you know, it is National Senior Citizen Day. And, you know, a lot of people, like I said, you know who's going to be as big as the senior, as the, what am I? I'm a baby boomer. Is going to be the millennials. They're going to take us over. And I believe the millennials are going to be, because of the millennials, our Social Security is going to be in good shape. Okay? So, let's look at some movie people that are oldies. We've got Michael Caine, 87. Okay. Daryl.
Yes, I had a rolling blackout over here, and it blacked us out.
Well, you do still roll pretty well. I've lost a lot of weight since then, so I can't roll quite as much, so I have to learn from you. While you were gone, my wife gave us a dissertation about the movie and reaction to Bambi, which I know is one of your favorites.
It is.
And we were talking about old people: Michael Caine, 87, Clint Eastwood, 90, Sean Connery, 89, Christopher Plummer, 90, Robert Redford, 84. That's not Robert Duvall, 89. Gene Hackman is 89, and Betty White is 98. Eva Marie Saint is 96. And Cloris Leachman, 94. So there are some old ones out there. And we were also talking a little bit before we go here about the millennials being able to take over our Social Security. So I think, you know, when we worked, we were putting money in, but we weren't taking the money out. That was going to the people then. So I am hopeful that the millennials will help us with Social Security. But when it comes to health care, okay, now we need uncertainty out of that, and we need to go right back into what we were talking about with reverse mortgages, and how people should really grab onto what may be available to help them through, right?
Absolutely. The program is available now, and, you know, from one year to the next, it does require constitutional support.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, once people are locked into the program, they're locked in.
They're in.
And
again, I don't sell, or I don't know about all those other products that have a healthcare rider, but look into them. Call me. I'll find some 2 or 3 people you can talk to, unless you can find them yourself. Look into that. And as far as interest rates, the amount of benefit anybody gets based on their reverse mortgage is based on age and interest rates. So the lower the interest rate is when you do your HECM, the higher the benefit is. And the sooner in life you do it, the more future you have and the more cash you have to get it. So what does that say? That says that now is the greatest time ever. So hurry up and grow older. I'm talking to you, Daryl.
Well, you know, I'm doing the best I can. You know, I can't wait until tomorrow morning, though, Jay. Do you know why?
What's that?
Because every day I wake up just a little better looking.
That means your eyes are deteriorating a little bit each day.
Correct.
And that's normal.
Oh, it is?
That's absolutely normal. So any big plans coming up this weekend?
Well, I just wanted to say thanks for having me on the show today, since it is National Senior Citizen Day, and the show is the Educated Retirement.
That means you are celebrating me today, because I am the national old guy.
Well,
Old,
that's true.
decrepit guy.
You got me there.
So
You
again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sean, the best engineer, and everyone listening, and of course to Daryl. And remember, Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. Have a great week.
Thank you.